Hi, I'm Emma Gersten, and I decided for my lesson I was going to teach kids how to keep our oceans clean. I decided to do this because I'm very passionate about environmental conservation. I am an environmental studies major, and I'm also planning on being a science teacher, so it just seemed fit. The audience that I would be doing the lesson to would be upper elementary, so that would be probably third to sixth grade. I chose this age group because I felt they were able to comprehend the material better than younger elementary, and I just like working with this age group. The objective would be students will know by the end of this lesson one way to help prevent ocean pollution. The tools I'd be using is active participation, partner sharing, class discussions, and interactive activities. My first slide, I would show the kids these two images. The first image would be of a polluted beach, and the second would be a totally clean beach. I would have the kids talk to their partners and explain which beach they felt was better and why. And then I would have a student share with the class by raising their hand what they thought of the images. And then I would go and explain what the images were to the whole class. My next slide would be introducing the topic, which is ocean pollution. I would give examples through pictures. The first one would be an oil spill, the next would be coral bleaching, and then the third would be through trash pollution. I decided to make my lesson picture heavy because I felt like it would resonate with the age group better than me talking to them and just lecturing. I would explain how each of these types of pollution are formed. Oil spills through offshore drilling, carbon dioxide. I would explain to them that gases from our cars and smoke and different things like that add to change the chemical balances in the ocean, which cause the corals to die. And then I would explain about littering and how our trash gets into the ocean and how animals end up eating it or getting stuck in it and end up starving and dying. Then I would go on to explain how they can help through recycling, not using single-use plastics, and doing their research. They can do research by educating themselves and educating their friends on the issue to make people more aware, and then not using single-use plastics such as plastic utensils and straws and single-use bags at grocery stores, how using reusable water bottles, reusable straws, and reusable totes actually helps bring down the amount of waste that we are producing. And then finally, the recycling, I would teach them how to properly recycle. So for the next slide, I was explaining how to properly sort your garbage. First would be compost, next would be recycling and landfill. For compost, you put food scraps, dirty papers, and yard clippings. Recycling, you put clean paper, cardboard, glass bottles, metal cans, plastics with the recycling logo on them. And finally, for landfill, you would do everything that doesn't go in the compost or recycling. And just for reference, I'd be taking questions throughout the presentation so that they could understand the material as we go through it. And finally, I would have a little interactive activity that they could talk to with their group and discuss. So it would be what goes in what bin. I have several different pictures of items, and then they would have to decide if it goes in compost, landfill, or recycling. The first would be a plastic bag, which would go into recycling. Next would be grass clippings, which would go into compost. Next would be a styrofoam cup. Most places do not accept styrofoam as recyclable, so that would most likely go into the landfill. Next would be bananas, so that would count as food scraps and would go into the compost. Next, we have a metal soup can, which would be recyclable. And lastly, we have a plastic water bottle, which is also recyclable. I would have the kids interact by them raising their hands and answering to me what they thought which item would go in which bins. To conclude the presentation, I would do a thumbs up, thumbs down questions to evaluate the students' understanding of the material. First, I would ask who feels they know what ocean pollution is, who knows a way that they can help stop ocean pollution, and who wants to keep the oceans clean. And then I would finish out with this slide saying, keep your oceans healthy so our sea friends can keep smiling. So, yeah, thank you.